Jake Miller was drinking his morning coffee when the alarm started. The sound cut through the quiet morning air like a knife. He dropped his mug and ran to the colony's main building. His boots hit the metal steps hard as he climbed to the control room. Amy Clark was already at her station. Her fingers moved fast over the control panel. Green lights flashed on her screen. She looked up when Jake walked in. "Sir, we have something big coming down from space," she said. Her voice was steady, but Jake could hear the worry in it. Jake moved to the big window that showed the sky above Haven's Rest. The morning was clear and blue, but there, high up, something dark was getting bigger. It looked like a black cloud at first. Then Jake saw it was not a cloud at all. "What is that thing?" Jake asked. "It's a ship," Amy said. "But not like any ship we know. It's huge. Maybe 10 times bigger than our transport ships." Jake felt his heart beat faster. Haven's Rest was a peaceful place. They grew food and raised animals. They had never seen alien ships before. No human colony had. "Get Ryan Foster on the radio," Jake said. "Tell him to come here now, and call Lisa Barnes too." Amy nodded and started making calls. Jake kept looking at the sky. The alien ship was coming down slowly. It was long and thin like a giant needle. Strange lights moved along its sides. Ryan Foster arrived first. He was a big man with gray hair and hard eyes. He had been a soldier before coming to Haven's Rest. Now he kept the colony safe from wild animals and accidents. "What do we know?" Ryan asked. "Not much," Jake said. "But they're coming down whether we want them to or not." Lisa Barnes came in next. She was younger than Jake, with brown hair pulled back in a tie. She took care of all the animals in the colony. She was also the smartest person Jake knew about living things. "Is it really aliens?" Lisa asked. She sounded excited and scared at the same time. "Has to be," Amy said. "No human ship looks like that." The alien ship landed in the big field outside town. It made no sound as it touched the ground. That was strange. Human ships made lots of noise when they landed. Jake, Ryan, and Lisa got in a truck and drove out to meet the aliens. Amy stayed to watch the radios. Other colonists came out of their houses to look. Some had their dogs with them. The dogs seemed nervous. They stayed close to their owners. The alien ship opened up like a flower. A ramp came down. Jake stopped the truck 50 feet away. They waited. 3 aliens walked down the ramp. They were tall, maybe 8 feet high. Their bodies looked like they were made of crystal and metal. They had 4 arms and moved like big insects. Their heads had too many eyes. One alien stepped forward. When it spoke, the words came from a box on its chest. The voice sounded like grinding metal. "I am Commander Vextar of the Kethmori Empire. You are humans of this world. We claim this world for our empire. You will leave or serve us." Jake got out of the truck. Ryan and Lisa stayed close behind him. Jake had been in the military before becoming a colony leader. He knew how to talk to dangerous people. "I'm Jake Miller. I speak for the people of Haven's Rest. This is our home. We've worked hard to build it. We won't just leave." The alien's many eyes looked at Jake. Then it made a sound like breaking glass. Jake thought it might be laughing. "You are weak, Commander," Vextar said. "We have seen your kind. You keep small animals as pets. You grow food instead of taking it. You build with soft materials. Weak. Being peaceful doesn't make us weak," Jake said. "It does," the alien said. "We have conquered 17 worlds. All fell before our war beasts, creatures so terrible that armies run in fear. Your soft world will fall in one day." Lisa stepped forward. "What kind of creatures?" Commander Vextar looked at her. "The razor-claw stalkers. 12 feet of teeth and claws. Armor that stops bullets. They hunt in packs and show no mercy. They have destroyed cities. Armies cannot stop them." "And you think that will work here?" Jake asked. "We know it will work here," the alien said. "You have no weapons, you have no soldiers, you have pets and farm animals. Our beasts will eat them first, then they will eat you." Ryan stepped forward. His hand moved to his gun. "Maybe you should leave and find an easier target." All three aliens made the glass-breaking sound. There are no easier targets than humans. You are the weakest race we have found. Jake felt angry, but kept his voice calm. Give us time to think about your offer. 3 days, Commander Vextar said. Then we return with the beasts. You can leave in your ships or die with your animals. Choose. The aliens walked back to their ship. The ramp closed. The ship rose into the sky without sound. Soon it was gone. Jake, Ryan, and Lisa stood in the field. Around them, the peaceful colony went on with its day. People worked in gardens. Children played with dogs. Cows ate grass in the fields. They have no idea what they're dealing with, Lisa said quietly. What do you mean? Jake asked. Lisa smiled, but it was not a happy smile. They think our animals make us weak. They don't understand what we've done here. What have we done? Ryan asked. We didn't just bring pets to Haven's Rest, Lisa said. We brought partners, and some of those partners have been bred for war for thousands of years. They just don't know it yet. Jake looked around at the colony. Dogs played with children. Horses worked in fields. Cattle grazed peacefully. But Jake started to see them differently. These were not just animals, they were allies. 3 days, Jake said. We have 3 days to get ready. More than enough time, Lisa said. Her smile got wider. Wait until they meet what we've really domesticated. As they drove back to town, Jake wondered if the aliens had made a big mistake. They thought humans were weak because they cared for animals. But maybe that caring was about to become the aliens' worst nightmare. The alien ships came back early. Jake Miller was in his office when Amy Clark called on the radio. Jake, they're back. Not just one ship this time, 5 ships, and they're not landing in the field. Jake ran to the window. High above, the alien ships spread out across the sky. They moved toward the outer farms where people lived with their animals. Get everyone on the radio, Jake said. Tell them to get ready. Greg Turner was feeding his cattle when the first alien ship stopped above his ranch. Greg was a big man with strong hands from years of farm work. He had come to Haven's Rest to raise the best cattle in the colony. The ship opened. Something fell out. It hit the ground hard. Dust flew up around it. Greg stepped back and called to his workers. Boys, get over here. Bring the tools. The dust cleared. Greg saw the war beast for the first time. It was bigger than the aliens had said. 12 feet tall and covered in black scales that looked like metal armor. Its head was long with too many teeth. 6 legs held up its body. Each leg ended in claws, as long as Greg's arm. Red eyes looked around the farm. The beast made a sound like a roar and a scream mixed together. It was the worst sound Greg had ever heard. That's one ugly cow, Greg said to his men. Let's show it how we handle problem. Animals on this ranch. The beast charged at the cattle pen. But Greg's cattle were not normal Earth cattle. They were bigger and stronger. Lisa Barnes had worked with Greg to make them perfect for the hard life on Haven's Rest. The first cow the beast reached was a bull named Thunder. Thunder was 8 feet tall and weighed 2 tons. His horns were sharp and his muscles were huge. When the beast jumped at Thunder, the bull was ready. Thunder's horns caught the beast in the side. The beast's armor cracked. Black blood came out. The beast roared and tried to bite Thunder, but Thunder was not alone. 5 more bulls came running. They hit the beast from all sides. Greg and his workers watched in surprise. The terrible war beast was losing a fight with farm animals. Well, I'll be, said one worker. Thunder's doing better than I thought he would. But more beasts were falling from the sky. Greg saw them landing all around the valley. Each ship was dropping dozens of the creatures. Time to call for help, Greg said. Kate Morgan was at the lake when she saw the beasts. She was studying the fish that lived in Haven's Rest waters. She had spent years making sure the lake had the right kinds of life in it. 3 beasts came running toward the lake. They moved fast on their 6 legs. Kate grabbed her radio. This is Kate. I have 3 of those things coming at me. Anyone got ideas? Run, came Ryan Foster's voice on the radio. Too late for that, Kate said. The beasts reached the lake edge. They looked at Kate and made their terrible sounds. But then something strange happened. The water moved. Something Big was coming up from the deep part of the lake. Kate had brought more than fish to Haven's Rest. She had brought earth creatures that could live in the colony's waters. Some of those creatures were very big and very protective of their territory. A giant snapping turtle came out of the water. It was the size of a small car. Its shell was covered with spikes. Its head was bigger than a man. The turtle grabbed one beast in its mouth. The beast's armor meant nothing to jaws that could bite through steel. 2 more turtles came out of the water. Then came the fish. Big fish with teeth like saws. Fish that had been bred to eat anything that threatened their. Like Kate watched the beasts disappear under the water. They never came back up. Kate, to anyone listening, she said into her radio. The lake is safe. Our water friends took care of the problem. Steve Adams was in his workshop when the attack started. He fixed machines and built new ones for the farms. He also had a secret project he had been working on. A beast broke through his workshop wall. It looked around for something to kill. It saw Steve standing next to a big machine. You picked the wrong workshop, Ugly, Steve said. He pushed a button. The machine came to life. It was a harvester, but Steve had changed it. Instead of cutting crops, it was made to cut other things. The beast jumped at Steve. The harvester's blades caught it in the air. The beast was cut into pieces before it hit the ground. Steve's radio crackled. It was Jake Miller. Steve, how are you doing? Just fine, Steve said, looking at the pieces of beast on his floor. Turns out farm equipment works real good on these things. Who knew? All across the valley, the story was the same. The terrible war beasts that had destroyed 17 worlds were losing fights with farm animals and tools. Lisa Barnes was at the animal hospital when she got the reports. Dogs were bringing down beasts twice their size. Horses were kicking them to death, even the sheep were fighting back. This is not going how they planned, Lisa said to herself. She looked out the window. In the distance, she could see one of the alien ships. She wondered what the aliens were thinking as they watched their perfect war beasts lose to pets and farm animals. Commander Vextar stood in his ship watching the battle screens. His officers made worried sounds around him. The beasts are failing, one officer said. The humans' animals are fighting back. This has never happened before. Impossible, Vextar said. Animals run from the beasts. They do not fight. These animals are different, the officer said. They are working together. They are protecting the humans. Vextar watched a screen that showed one of his beasts being attacked by a pack of dogs. The dogs moved like soldiers. They had a plan. They were winning. What kind of animals are these? Vextar asked. We do not know, the officer said. But they are not like any animals we have seen before. Vextar made the sound his people made when they were angry. His perfect war beasts were losing to pets. This was not supposed to happen. On the ground, Jake Miller drove through the valley. Everywhere he looked, he saw the same thing. Dead war beasts and happy animals. The dogs were wagging their tails. The cattle were eating grass again. The horses were playing in the fields. Amy, Jake said into his radio. Tell our alien friends we'd like to talk. Commander Vextar did not want to talk. Instead, he sent more war beasts. Bigger ones this time. Meaner ones. He had beasts that could breathe fire. He had beasts with poison claws. He had beasts that could turn invisible. Jake Miller watched from the colony center as the new ships came down. These ships were different. They looked like they were built for war. How many this time? Jake asked Amy Clark. 20 ships, Amy said. And they're dropping a lot more beasts. Tony Walsh was getting ready. Tony had been a dog trainer in the Earth military before coming to Haven's Rest. He had brought 12 dogs with him when he came to the colony. But these were not normal dogs. Tony's dogs were made from the best Earth dogs. German shepherds mixed with wolves. Mastiffs mixed with hunting dogs. They were bigger than normal dogs, stronger, smarter, and they had been trained for war. Come on, boys and girls, Tony said to his pack. Time to show these aliens what Earth dogs can really do. The lead dog was named Rex. Rex was black with yellow eyes. He was as big as a small horse. He could run 50 miles per hour. He could bite through steel. And he was loyal to Tony and the colony. Rex made a low sound in his throat. The other dogs answered. Soon dogs from all over the colony were coming, not just Tony's war dogs, pet dogs, farm dogs, guard dogs. They all came when Rex called. Helen Price was at her lab when the new attack started. She was a scientist who worked with genes. She made animals better for life on Haven's Rest. She had been very busy since the colony started. Computer, show me the test results for Project Thunder, Helen said. Numbers appeared on her screen. Helen smiled. The cattle were doing even better than she had hoped. They were not just bigger and stronger, they were smarter too. They could work together like a team. But Helen had not just worked on cattle. She had worked on all the animals in the colony. The horses were faster and stronger. The pigs were meaner and tougher. Even the chickens could fight if they had to. Time to see how well my work paid off, Helen said. Carl Dixon was in the woods when the invisible beasts came. Carl had been a zookeeper on Earth. He knew how animals thought and acted. He had spent 3 years learning about the wild animals that lived on Haven's Rest. The invisible beasts thought they were clever. They could not be seen, but they still made sound. They still had a smell. And the animals of Haven's Rest had very good noses and ears. A pack of wild dogs found the invisible beasts first. These dogs were the children of Earth dogs that had gone wild on Haven's Rest. They were part wolf, part dog, and all predator. Carl watched through his field glasses as the invisible beasts became visible again. It was hard to stay invisible when 20 wild dogs were biting you. Good boys, Carl said. Show them what happens when they come into our woods. But the real surprise came when the fire-breathing beasts landed in the main valley. These beasts were huge, 20 feet tall with wings and mouths full of fire. They had burned entire cities on other worlds. The first fire beast landed near Greg Turner's ranch. It opened its mouth and shot fire at the cattle pen. But something strange happened. The fire hit a wall that was not there before. Thunder the bull was standing in front of the pen, but Thunder was not alone. 10 other bulls stood with him. They had their heads down and were making a sound like singing. Helen Price had done more than make the cattle bigger and stronger. She had given them new abilities. The bulls could make a shield with their minds. The fire could not get through. The fire beast tried again. More fire came from its mouth. The shield held, then Thunder charged. The other bulls followed. 20 tons of angry earth cattle hit the fire beast like a truck. The beast went down hard. It did not get back up. Tony Walsh and his dogs were fighting the poison claw beasts. These beasts were fast and their claws could kill with one scratch. But Tony's dogs were faster. Rex led the pack in a dance of death around the poison beasts. The dogs moved like they could read each other's minds. When one dog attacked, another was ready to help. When a beast turned to fight one dog, 3 more dogs hit it from behind. That's my boys, Tony said. Show them how Earth wolves hunt. But the biggest surprise came when the aliens sent their strongest beasts. These were called the Apex Hunters. Each one had killed thousands of soldiers on other worlds. They were smart, fast, and impossible to stop, or so the aliens thought. The first Apex Hunter landed in the town square. It was 15 feet tall with silver skin and 4 arms. Each arm had claws that could cut through steel. Its eyes could see in the dark and through walls. The beast looked around for something to kill. It saw a small girl playing with a puppy. The beast moved toward the girl. But before it could take 2 steps, something hit it from the side. The beast rolled across the ground and got up fast. Standing between the beast and the girl was the puppy, but the puppy was growing. In seconds, it was the size of a horse. Its teeth were like knives. Its eyes glowed yellow. Lisa Barnes had not just worked on farm animals. She had worked on pets, too. The cute puppies and kittens in the colony could become very dangerous when they needed to protect their families. The Apex Hunter tried to fight the giant puppy. But more pets were coming. Cats the size of tigers. Birds with claws like swords. Even the hamsters were getting bigger and meaner. Commander Vextar watched his strongest beasts lose to house pets. His officers were making sounds of fear and confusion. "This is impossible," Vexitar said. "Animals do not fight like this. They do not work together like this. What are these humans?" "Commander," one officer said, "maybe we should leave, find an easier target." "No," Vexitar said. "We are the Kethamori. We do not run from soft humans and their pets. Send everything. All our beasts, all our ships. We will crush this world." But on the ground, Jake Miller was not worried. He stood in the town square watching a kitten the size of a lion chase an alien war beast up a tree. "Lisa," Jake said into his radio, "I think our friends are starting to understand what we really brought to Haven's Rest." "Not yet," Lisa said back. "But they will. Wait until they see what we've been saving for last." Commander Vexitar was angry. His best war beasts were dead. His officers were scared. His empire would be very unhappy if he failed on this soft human world. "Bring out the Apex Devourer," Vexitar said. His officers made sounds of fear. The Apex Devourer was their most terrible weapon. It was a beast so big and mean that they only used it when they wanted to destroy everything on a world. "Commander," one officer said, "the Apex Devourer will eat everything, even us if we are not careful." "Good," Vexitar said. "These humans think their pets make them strong. Let them try to fight a mountain that eats." Dan Roberts was teaching a group of colonists how to fight when the biggest alien ship he had ever seen came down from space. Dan had been a Special Forces soldier on Earth. He knew how to fight wars that normal armies could not win. "Everyone listen," Dan said to his students. "That big ship is bringing something very bad. But we have been getting ready for this." Dan had spent 2 years teaching the people of Haven's Rest how to fight like soldiers. But these were not normal soldiers. These soldiers had animal partners. Each person had bonded with an animal, not just as a pet or work animal, as a true partner who could think and fight alongside them. Julie Kim had studied this bonding for months. Julie was a mind doctor who wanted to understand how humans and animals could work so well together. "It's not just training," Julie told Dan. "The animals and humans are sharing thoughts somehow. When one thinks of a plan, the other knows it, too." Dan nodded. He had seen it happen. A farmer would think about flanking an enemy. His dog would run to the right spot without being told. A rancher would worry about her cattle. The cattle would form a protective circle before she could speak. "It's like they have one mind in many bodies," Julie said. Nick Cooper was in his workshop making the final changes to his machines. Nick was an engineer who built things that could do 2 jobs. His tractors could farm and fight. His harvesters could cut crops and cut enemies. "Nick," came Jake Miller's voice on the radio. "How are those modifications coming?" "Almost done," Nick said. "Every piece of farm equipment in the colony can now be a weapon. Just flip a switch and your plow becomes a cannon." The biggest alien ship landed in the center of the valley. The ground shook when it touched down. Birds flew away from the area. Even the brave animals of Haven's Rest seemed worried. The ship opened like a giant mouth. Something came out. Jake Miller looked at it through field glasses from the colony center. At first he thought it was a hill. Then the hill moved. "Dear God," Jake said. The Apex Devourer was the size of a mountain. It had 5 heads, each one bigger than a house. Its body was covered in armor that looked like black stone. It had dozens of legs and arms. Acid dripped from its mouths and burned the ground. "All units," Jake said into his radio. "We have a big problem coming our way." The beast began to move toward the colony. Each step made the ground shake. Trees fell down when it walked past them. A small river changed direction to get out of its way. Amy Clark was monitoring alien communications when she heard something important. "Jake," she said, "I'm picking up their radio signals. And Jake, you need to hear this." She played the recording. The alien voices were talking in their own language, but the computer translated it. "The humans are impossible to understand," one voice said. "How can they make their food animals fight? How can their pets think like soldiers?" "It makes no sense," another voice said. "Animals are meant to be eaten or used for work. They cannot be partners. These humans treat animals like they treat other humans," a third voice said. It is disgusting. It is wrong. Animals are not people. Amy looked at Jake. They really don't understand, do they? Jake shook his head. They have no idea what bonding with animals means. To them, every living thing is either a master or a slave. But the Apex Devourer was getting closer. Its acid breath was burning everything in front of it. The terrible beast had destroyed whole cities on other worlds. It had eaten entire armies. Lisa Barnes was at the animal hospital getting ready for the biggest fight of her life. She had called every animal in the colony. They were all coming. "This is it," Lisa said to her assistant. "Everything we have worked for comes down to this." Dogs came running from every farm. Cats jumped down from roofs. Horses galloped in from the fields. Cattle ran in herds. Pigs, sheep, chickens, and even pet rabbits came to help. But these were not normal Earth animals anymore. 3 years of genetic work had made them into something new, something that could think and plan and fight together. Pete Williams was a Marine who had come to Haven's Rest to retire. But when he saw the Apex Devourer coming, he knew his fighting days were not over. "All militia units," Pete said into his radio. "This is what we trained for. Remember, you are not fighting alone. Your animal partners are with you." The beast reached the outer farms. It opened one of its giant mouths and breathed acid over Greg Turner's ranch. But the cattle were ready. They had moved away before the acid came. Somehow they knew where it would land. Thunder the bull led his herd in a charge at the beast's legs. The impact was like thunder. The Apex Devourer stumbled but did not fall. Tony Walsh and his war dogs attacked from the other side. Rex led a pack of 50 dogs in a coordinated assault on the beast's feet. Their teeth, made stronger by genetic changes, bit through the armor. But the beast was too big. It had too many heads and too many weapons. For every wound the animals made, the beast healed 2 more. Then something amazing happened. Every animal in the colony began to sing. It was not a sound humans could hear, but the animals could. The song connected them all. Dogs and cats and cattle and horses and birds all singing the same song. Julie Kim heard it through her special equipment. "Dan, they're all connected now. Every animal in the colony is thinking as one mind." The Apex Devourer stopped moving. It had never faced anything like this before. Thousands of animals working as one, each animal knowing what all the others were thinking. The beast tried to use its acid breath, but the animals were always somewhere else when the acid arrived. It tried to step on them, but they moved like water around its feet. Commander Vextar watched in horror as his ultimate weapon was slowly being torn apart by farm animals and pets working together. "This is impossible," he said. "Animals cannot do this. They are not intelligent enough." But his officer had been studying the humans. "Commander," the officer said, "I think we have made a terrible mistake. These humans did not just tame animals. They made the animals into extensions of themselves." "What does that mean?" Vextar asked. "It means," the officer said, "that we are not fighting humans and animals. We are fighting one creature with thousands of bodies, and that creature has been preparing for war for thousands of years." On the ground, the Apex Devourer was losing. Piece by piece, the animals were taking it apart. They worked together like the fingers of one giant hand. Jake Miller watched in amazement as his colony's animals defeated the most terrible weapon in the alien arsenal. "Amy," Jake said, "tell our alien friends we really want to talk now." Commander Vextar did not want to talk. He wanted to run. The Apex Devourer was dead. His war beasts were all gone. His officers were making sounds of panic. "Commander," one officer said, "we must leave. This world is cursed. These humans are not natural." "Yes," Vextar said. "We will leave. But first we will destroy everything from space. Burn the whole world." But Jake Miller had other plans. "Ryan," Jake said to his security chief, "they can't be allowed to leave. If they go back to their empire and tell them about us, more aliens will come, stronger ones." Ryan Foster nodded. "What do you want to do about it?" "We're going to capture their ships," Jake said. "All of them." Matt Johnson was already getting ready. Matt flew crop dusters for the colony, small planes that spread fertilizer and bug spray on the farms. But Nick Cooper had been busy with Matt's planes too. "How do the modifications look?" Jake asked Matt. "Beautiful," Matt said. "These little planes can do a lot more than spray crops now." Matt's plane looked the same from outside, but hidden under the wings were weapons that Nick had built. Missiles, made from mining explosives, guns that shot superheated metal, and something special that Susan Lee had created. Susan Lee was the colony's computer expert. She had been studying the alien ship since they first arrived. She had learned how to break into their computer systems. "I can shut down their engines," Susan told Jake, "but I need to get close to their ships." "Matt can get you close," Jake said. Pete Williams was organizing the ground assault. Pete had trained 50 colonists to fight like Marines. But these Marines had animal partners. "Remember," Pete told his soldiers, "we're not trying to destroy the ships, we want to capture them. So no big explosives. Use your animals to get inside, then take control." Each Marine had bonded with a different animal. Some had dogs trained for indoor fighting. Others had cats that could move silently through small spaces. A few had birds that could fly into ships and open doors from inside. But the most important part of Pete's plan was the animals themselves. After the battle with the Apex Devourer, all the animals in the colony could think as one. This meant Pete's Marines could coordinate perfectly with animals spread across the entire battlefield. The alien ships were trying to take off when Matt's crop dusters attacked. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Tiny earth planes moving, like fighters, shooting weapons that could damage their armor. "How are farming planes doing this?" Vextar screamed at his officers. "The humans have modified everything," one officer said. "Their tools, their animals, their machines. Nothing is what it appears to be." Susan Lee's computer virus hit the alien ships at the same time. One by one, their engines shut down. The ships that were trying to escape crashed back to the ground. "Got them," Susan said. "All 25 ships are stuck." But the aliens were not giving up. They had personal weapons and they knew how to fight. They came out of their ships ready for battle. They did not expect what they found. Every animal in the colony was waiting for them. Thousands of dogs, cats, horses, cattle, pigs, chickens, and even rabbits, all working together like one giant army. The aliens tried to fight, but they had never faced anything like this. Every time they shot at one animal, 10 more attacked from behind. When they tried to group together, the animals surrounded them. When they tried to run, the animals were already where they were going. Pete Williams and his Marines moved through the chaos like ghosts. Their animal partners showed them exactly where each alien was. The Marines captured the aliens without killing them. "This is for questioning later," Pete told his soldiers. "We need to know about their empire." Commander Vextar found himself surrounded by a pack of dogs led by Rex. The big black dog looked at him with yellow eyes that seemed almost human. "Your empire needs to know about this," Tony Walsh said, walking up behind the dogs. "But they're going to hear it from us, not you." Jake Miller stood in the main square of Haven's Rest. Around him, his people were celebrating. Children played with puppies that could grow into giants. Farmers petted cattle that could stop bullets with their minds. The whole colony was one big family of humans and animals. Amy Clark was working on the captured alien radio equipment. "Jake, I've got their long-range communicator working. We can send a message to their empire." "Good," Jake said. "Susan, start recording." Susan Lee set up the recording equipment. Jake stood in front of it with Lisa Barnes beside him. Behind them, Rex and Thunder and dozens of other animals formed a line. "This message is for the Keth Mori Empire," Jake said. "Your war fleet has been defeated by the human colony of Haven's Rest. Your ships are captured, your warriors are prisoners." Jake paused to let that sink in. "You thought we were weak because we care for animals. You were wrong. We don't just care for them. We are one with them. For thousands of years, humans have been bonding with other species, making them part of our families, part of our armies, part of ourselves." Lisa stepped forward. "Every animal you saw today was bred and trained by humans. We took wolves and made them into loyal partners. We took wild cattle and made them into living tanks. We took house cats and made them into silent hunters." Jake spoke again. Your empire has a choice. Leave human worlds alone or face what we've created together. Because what you saw today was just one small colony. Earth has billions of humans and billions of animals, all working as one. Behind Jake, Rex raised his head and howled. Every dog in the colony joined in. Then the cats began to roar, the cattle began to bellow, the horses began to whinny. Together, they made a sound that was beautiful and terrible at the same time. That, Jake said, is the sound of Earth. Stay away from our worlds or you'll hear it again. Susan Lee sent the message to every Kethmori ship in space. She made sure it went to their homeworlds too. The entire alien empire would know what happened at Haven's Rest. Commander Vexistar listened to the message from his prison cell. His officers were in cells next to him. Through the window, he could see human children playing with animals that could kill a war beast. They are not natural, Vexistar said to himself. Humans are not supposed to bond with other species like this. But Tony Walsh heard him through the door. That's where you're wrong, Tony said. This is exactly what humans are supposed to do. We've been doing it for so long, we forgot there was any other way. 6 months later, Jake Miller got a message from Earth. Other human colonies had started copying what Haven's Rest had done. They were all bonding with their animals. They were all becoming stronger. The Kethmori Empire had declared human space off limits. Their war fleets would not come to human worlds anymore. Jake stood on his porch watching the sunset. Rex lay beside his chair. In the distance, Thunder and his herd grazed peacefully in fields they had died to protect. Think we'll have more trouble? Jake asked the big dog. Rex made a soft sound that somehow meant, not if they're smart. Jake scratched Rex behind the ears. Yeah, he said. I think word is getting around. Don't mess with humans and their pets. In the distance, children were playing with puppies. But these puppies were the children of war dogs and farm dogs and wild dogs. They would grow up knowing how to be both pets and protectors. The galaxy was learning a new rule. Humans were not alone. They never had been. And that made them the most dangerous species in space.